There's a strange tragedy unfolding in silence. Days pass, one after another, and the mind keeps pretending there's endless time ahead. There's always later, always tomorrow, always another chance, but time isn't listening. It doesn't slow down for hesitation, or fear, or the comforting belief that life can be lived someday. Youth slips quietly, not all at once, but in small, unnoticed pieces. A missed opportunity here, a postponed dream there, a habit shaped by comfort, a passion abandoned because effort felt unnecessary. And the saddest part is how normal it begins to feel. How routine becomes a substitute for purpose. How distractions take the place of ambition. How potential fades into the background, waiting patiently while life continues in patterns never meant to last. The mirror doesn't change suddenly. There's no warning, no moment where everything turns dark. There's just a day when the reflection feels unfamiliar, not older, just distant, like a version of life imagined long ago, never lived. Somewhere deep inside, a quieter truth exists, a truth the world doesn't say out loud. Youth isn't permanent, energy isn't infinite, dreams don't stay alive on their own. There was once a fire, small but real, that made life feel emotional, unpredictable, meaningful. A fire that pushed towards something greater, something unseen but deeply felt. But as time passed, the fire wasn't extinguished by failure, it was suffocated by comfort. Comfort feels harmless. It doesn't announce itself as danger. It feels soft, safe, familiar, but slowly it becomes a place where passion dies quietly, not violently. And yet, beneath every avoided task, beneath every moment of hesitation, beneath every delay, something remains unsettled. A thought that whispers, late at night when distractions fall silent. Life is moving, even when action doesn't. There comes a moment when comfort stops feeling peaceful and begins to feel heavy, like a weight pressing on the chest, reminding there was once more to become. Not better than anyone, just better than the version that settled. Because deep inside, there's a memory, not of achievements, but of intention. A memory of wanting to grow, to evolve, to matter in a way that felt personal, not for recognition. That memory isn't weakness. It's proof that potential still exists. Youth is not just age, it's the period when dreams still breathe without needing permission. When effort feels meaningful rather than exhausting, when time feels available rather than borrowed. But there's a thing many will discover too late. Youth disappears not from living, but from waiting. Waiting for confidence, waiting for clarity, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for fear to go away. But fear never disappears. It only changes shape. At first, it's fear of trying. Later, it becomes fear of having never tried at all. There's a silence inside every person, a silence that grows heavier with every abandoned intention, not because life is cruel, but because the mind remembers what was possible. And one day, the realization arrives, softly but with impact. The world doesn't pause for hesitation. Time doesn't apologize for passing. Youth doesn't return once it's gone. But regret doesn't need to become punishment. It can become direction. There's a quiet strength in acknowledging wasted time, a strength most never experience, because facing truth feels uncomfortable. But the moment truth is accepted, something shifts, not loudly, quietly, not dramatically, steadily. That shift is the beginning, not of motivation, but of awareness. Awareness that something meaningful still remains unfinished. Awareness that potential didn't die, it was neglected. Awareness that life isn't asking for perfection, only presence. Some paths don't demand intensity, only consistency. Some growth doesn't begin with confidence, but with uncertainty. Some transformations don't need noise, only commitment. People think the hardest part is starting. It isn't. The hardest part is believing that the chance to start still exists. But it does. As long as the heart aches when thinking about what could have been, there is still time to become something more. Not because life guarantees success, life guarantees nothing, but because living without trying is its own kind of suffering, a slow erosion of identity, meaning, purpose. There's a quiet turning point where the soul stops asking for motivation and starts asking for responsibility. Not the kind forced by pressure, but the kind chosen through understanding that nothing will ever feel perfect. That ambition isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Understanding that potential means nothing without action. The past cannot be rewritten, but the future isn't written yet. There is still space to grow, still chances to evolve, still moments ahead where meaning can be found again. The mind knows what needs to be done. It always did. The hesitation wasn't ignorance, it was fear of failing, but with time, the meaning of failure changes. Failure isn't trying and falling short. Failure is reaching the end and realizing life was lived on pause. There's a quiet dignity in effort, a kind of beauty in trying, even without certainty. Somewhere ahead exists a version of life, built with intention rather than habit. That version isn't unreachable, it waits for the moment. The present becomes more important than the past, and possibility becomes more significant than fear. Youth may be fading, but life isn't over. Dreams may be buried, but they aren't gone. Strength may feel distant, but it can be rebuilt. Everything begins with one silent choice: to stop watching life pass and begin participating in it again. Not to chase perfection, but to protect potential. Not to impress the world, but to respect the self that once believed life could be more than survival. And with that choice, slowly, quietly, something returns. Not the past, not lost years. Something better. A new beginning built with awareness, intention, and the understanding that time is limited, and that's what makes it precious. Until next time, keep working, keep grinding,